Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Moms and Some Labels. Two Moms and Some Labels is a platform for parents and caregivers caring for a child with a disability to come together in a shared space to just gain ideas on how to persevere through challenging times. My name is Brittany, and today we are doing another business highlight. So I like to highlight businesses in the community that are geared towards individuals or loved ones of individuals that have a disability and how they are helping those in the community. And so today I have with me Mrs. Karen, and we are going to talk a little bit about sign language. So I'm going to let her take it away and introduce herself.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Miss Karen. The kids call me the sign language lady. I'm a mother of two daughters that I love so much. I taught them sign language as well, and um, I love the community. I love teaching sign language, so I figured that I could share my gift with the community.
That is awesome. And I'm glad that you are doing this because a lot of times I do hear a lot of parents or see a lot of parents on like Facebook and stuff asking, where can I get a sign language class? Is there anyone offering classes for sign language? So there's always people looking for the opportunity to be able to take sign language, especially when they find out that they have a loved one that will maybe need to be using ASL. And before I even talk about, ASL and get into those acronyms, can you tell us what sign language or ASL is, what the technical term is for it, what it stands for?
Well, ASL stands for American Sign Language. So even though it said American Sign Language, we do have British Sign Language, Japanese Sign Language, Chinese Sign Language, which is JSL, BSL, CSL. See that? So whichever country you live in, that's your sign language. So it's very
Oh,
fun when you get into all those and the different alphabets, and it's such fun. You learn it all.
oh my gosh, wow. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know like there was sign language in different countries and they had different names for it. That's incredible. I'm about to, learn all of that. But I guess is it the same like, learning a new language if you were to go to the country and needed to speak their language? Or is it like much more of a longer process to be able to learn their, another country's sign language?
Um, I think it's the same because normally when you're learning sign language, it takes your hand and your mind to connect. Once it's connecting, you can learn any sign language because you
Okay.
have to. Just like if I make the letter A, my mind is connecting that this is an A.
Mhm.
But once trying to think and focus on the A, and you're doing because you have to get it to connect.
Okay. So that's good to know. And okay, so we have you on here today because you have a business, like I was saying, and it's geared toward helping those that, are trying to learn sign language. So can you tell us what the name of your business is and what made you start this business?
The, the original name of my business is A Silent World Deaf Center. And I have other business branching off from that. But the main business, A Silent World, is a center to support deaf, to assist deaf, um, to help them live independently. So, what that means is we help them with jobs, resumes. They may need a car, they may need somewhere to live, they may need clothes, they may need food. A deaf mom may need a daycare for her baby. So we try to find the best for them. In my center, if we can't find what they need, we create it ourselves. Because everyone don't know sign language. So, and then on top of that, you may not want to call an interpreter, which is kind of expensive if you're not a big company. So if you're not going to call an interpreter to support my deaf, or create some kind of program to support my deaf, then that leaves me to do it, because I give the community a chance to do it. So if they don't, then that leaves me to create it, just like the daycare. We did have a young lady that took in deaf kids, but I don't know what happened to her. So right now, we're creating a deaf um, daycare for our moms. So we're trying to do what we can, within reasonable things in our budget. They're trying to call on donations and all that to kind of support us to create these things for our hearing impaired, because it's a lot of stuff for the blind. It's everything for the blind, but the deaf, we don't have anything. You know, our interpreters, we need interpreters, and interpreters are very important. And sometimes, I don't know how to say this, but I'm just going to say it like the deaf say it. Black interpreters are for our black deaf, and white interpreters are for our white deaf sometimes, because it's a language there that, and a persona demeanor that we have that you know so I'm trying to hire more black deaf for our black deaf, and I'm trying to hire all other kind of races of interpreters, because we do have Chinese people here. We do have, America is like a, what you call it, the salad. So we
Melting
have a
pot.
lot of different variety of people. And I've met a Chinese deaf person. So I met a Russian deaf person here in America. So you never know where you may meet a deaf person. You never know what kind of deaf person you may have. So
Yeah, and I mean that's good that you mentioned that too, because the I'm trying to figure out how to word it now too, but I understand what you're saying as far as like the slang, I would say, or the style that us as African Americans use when we talk is different from other cultures, other races when they talk, just like I'm sure they have, certain slang words or, in their language. So it's the same for sign language, the way
mhm.
that it's being interpreted that way also. So that is very important to be able to have someone that, you know, you can relate to, because
Yeah.
even when we have like a lot of Spanish people that may, you know, come and need interpreting services, like there are so many different um styles of Spanish, and people come from different parts of the world that speak a different kind of Spanish. So one interpreter might be, you know, able to speak this person's type of Spanish, and the other one may not be able to because they have a different lingo. And so, you know, you need someone that is fit for each, you know, specific person or culture or race or what have you. So that's good that you're working on that, trying to get that together. And I think that is so wonderful that you're trying to open up a daycare for the mothers that have children. You know, whether the mothers are deaf or the children are deaf or both. I think that is an absolutely wonderful idea. That way, also too, that they don't have to drive or get bused all the way down to St. Augustine. You know, some parents aren't that comfortable with that, you know, having their kids go all the way down there to St. Augustine, especially if they live here in the inner city. So I think that is a great idea. And then it can be hard too, even if we have trouble already with our regular IEP students. I mean, I could just imagine our students that, you know, need the sign language interpreter or someone to give them instruction in sign language, you know, how hard that may be for families. So I think that is wonderful. And I had wanted to kind of like clarify also for the audience, because I used to work with visually impaired children. And when I would go out and I would have my name tag on, and it said, you know, Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind, and people would be like, oh, you know, do you know sign language? You speak sign language? And I'm like, I work with visually impaired individuals, not hearing impaired or, you know, deaf individuals. So a lot of times people don't know what the difference is between, you know, deaf and visually impaired. So can you tell us what it means? Because I know there's like deaf, hearing impaired, hard of hearing, and I don't know if I'm missing something or if those are the, you know, three categories.
Well, if you are hearing impaired, that is the actual category, because if you whatever your decibel is from the audiologist, you're hearing impaired, whether it's 1%, 5%, 20%, 100%, you have a hearing impairment. Now when you're talking about someone who is deaf, that means they was born deaf or they became deaf, it was in a car accident, um they was a teenager and they got smashed in the head in a football game. You know, things could happen um to make you become deaf. Um so when you're hard of hearing, then that means a percentage of your hearing is gone. That means you can hear a little bit, or maybe one ear is completely nothing wrong with it, and then the other ear may be just mangled. No cochlear, your hairs are gone, your eardrum itself may be mangled. So, and then you may have where both of your ears are just going to your percentage of loss, gets higher and higher. So you have your in some of our deaf that are harder stuff as, oh, I'm deaf, and then they'll just sign. So and some deaf are actually, yeah, I'm hard of hearing. I'm hard of hearing. Then you have the other say, yes, I'm deaf. I'm deaf. That's me. So it depends on the technical portion of it, the hearing impairment, the deaf and hard of hearing, but the deaf themselves can call themselves either deaf or hard of hearing. Yeah, they can do that all themselves. If they're hard of hearing and they want to be categorized as deaf, they'll say me, yep, and they'll do that. So they figure that they want to be deaf, they don't want to be hard of hearing.
Oh wow, okay. And so yeah, I just wanted to get some information on that because there's a lot of confusion or people don't know exactly the terms and the meanings of those different diagnoses or the different parts of being hearing impaired or and being deaf. And so you just teach ASL only, right? Yeah. And then so what services does your
Actually, I teach it all. I'm sorry.
you what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was asking me, do I teach ASL?
Yes. Do you only teach ASL?
No, I teach it all. I teach
Okay.
the everything. Chinese, Russian,
Wow.
and I don't always say I teach it because my class is not I'm the teacher because I'm learning with everybody. So I call it our community sign language practice. So all of us are learning. All of us have books. We
Okay.
got our books open. We're studying together. So I'm not actually the teacher. I'm showing them the proper hand, how to hold your hand and don't bounce. But we're all learning together because I'm still learning myself. The signs
Oh,
change all the time. And
oh
then we get
wow.
into the different language. We go to right now we're learning.
You said you guys are learning what right now?
Russian Sign
Oh
Language
wow.
and
Okay.
Chinese Sign Language.
Wow. Okay. And I know you spoke a little bit about the services that your business provides, um, and that you do like some interpreting, and if people like need jobs and things like that. So, like, what is the breakdown of your services that you provide?
Okay, ooh, it's a whole lot of them. Because we do everything almost.
Okay.
We're like I'll say the mom for the deaf.
Okay.
Because we assist in all things for the deaf, as
Okay.
well as have like parenting classes. We counsel. We help do resumes if you want a better job. If you want CDL license, we help you get we have deaf that drives for Coca-Cola. We have deaf that drive for Frito-Lay that needs CDL. We have deaf that drive for UPS. So we're like the mom. So
Wow.
we do
Oh my
everything. And
goodness.
then if you are if you are a hearing mom with a deaf baby, we have services for you because having a deaf baby is challenging. Very challenging having a deaf baby. People just don't know what a mom can go through with a deaf baby. And then people don't understand what a child goes through with deaf parents. So we have both sides there that we assist and help them.
And then I don't think that we had, before we like wrap up and talk about like how people can reach out to you, we didn't talk about, what made you start your business? What made you start this business?
Well, my auntie called my mom, and was like, my baby is deaf. So she was like, well, what we gonna do? So my auntie was like, well, we need to come over so all of us can learn something called sign language, because the interpreter wanted to come and teach the family. So I was like, what sign language? So I'm like, I don't know. But before that even happened, I'm in elementary school, and this lady was doing some with her hands. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. She was talking to us with her hands. It was called sign language. And then my auntie was telling us about it. I was like, yeah, that's what that lady was doing. I'm gonna like this. And I think that was how the Lord send you signs and guide you. I think that's what that was, because it started elementary. I saw the lady, and then I ended up with a deaf cousin, and then on top of that, she's a girl, which means she gets pregnant, have 4 sons, and 3 of them are deaf. So I'm like, I have 4 deaf cousins. I mean, how amazing is that to me? I love that. You
Wow.
know, it's
That
it's
is,
it's great,
yeah. And I say that
and
too,
that's how I
it's,
started, man.
yeah. It's, amazing how we get taken upon this path that we had no intentions on doing. We had nothing about, but things just kind of drop into our lives. And it's just like that sign, and it brings out just this fierceness, this passion to help other people because, of people like you that have actual experience dealing with it. You have family that is dealing with it, and you're able to relate to other people because of your experience, because of your relationship with, you know, having deaf family members. And so that's what makes it even better when people have businesses like this, when they can actually relate to those that are going through this because they have went through it, or they are going through it, they have family going through it that they are assisting. So that's what just makes this so amazing. And so where and how can people, sign up for your services if they are